Hi and welcome back to the garden. In this video I'm going to be propagating this beautiful Agastache and taking some cuttings to ensure we have some plants for next year. Agastache has to be one of my favourite perennials. It has these beautiful tubular-like flowers, and when it's actually flowering, I mean these have gone over a little now, but when it's actually flowering, these beautiful pale blue flowers on this particular variety are just stunning. We're growing it here in a container, and all Agastaches are tender perennials, so if you grow them somewhere in a warmer climate, these will see through the winter. But growing up north in Cheshire like we are, we're going to get some harsh temperatures, and the cold is more than likely going to kill this off. So I do want to try and have this next year, and in order to make sure that we do have plants for next year, we've got to do some propagation. And this will help us to not have to rebuy this plant again next year. If we take some cuttings at this time of year, we can then overwinter them in one of our mini greenhouses, and hopefully that will be sufficient heat within the plastic cover and the frame in order it to be overwintered, and it will then come back in the spring. So what I'm looking for on the Agastache is some fresh growth, and over here I have a really good example. So these pieces of growth, they haven't got any flowers on them, and they're nice and soft. So these are softwood cuttings, and you know the softwood cuttings because you can bend, the whole branch is bendy. And we're going to take these ones up. There's a few more on the other side as well that I'm going to use, and these are going to be the propagation material. So I'm going to start first of all just by taking off these pieces of growth, and I'm cutting just below a leaf joint there. That's the first one, and I'm going to do the same on this side with this one. So they're the first two. I'm just going to remove the lower leaves, pinch out the top. I'm going to dip that end in the hormone rooting powder, make a little hole in the side of the pot. Now this is just a pot filled with multi-purpose compost and grit, and I'm just going to secure it in the side there, and then I'm just going to take off some of this foliage just to make sure it doesn't lose too much moisture. So that's the first one, and then again with the second one, same thing. I'm removing the bottom foliage, nipping out the top, chopping down some of this leaf into the hormone rooting powder and into the compost. And I'll just see if I can get a few more. So ideally you want to be getting material that hasn't got flowers on it. So taking off the lower leaves, nipping out the top shoot, chopping down some of these leaves, making sure you make a cut just below where the leaf joint is, hormone rooting powder, and in the side of the container. And I'll just see if I can find another one. So I'm going to try one here. This one actually has a flower on it. So what I need to do is just nip out that top growth where the flower is, take off all this foliage, reduce the leaves slightly, hormone rooting powder, and in the side of the container. Just going to grab the watering can, make sure the whole thing gets a really good water. Now this one is a variety called Little Adder, and it's a lovely variety, and I would like to make sure that we do keep it for next year. So these cuttings will just ensure we do have some plants next year, because the adult ones, the mother plant, is likely to die as soon as the weather starts to get cold. So now that's gone through, I'm just going to wrap the whole thing up in a polythene bag. And this one's quite a handy one because it has a little space where I can write down what the plant is. So that'll do for the time being. Cover the whole thing up with the plastic bag. And then you can either put some twine to keep it in place, or if you do have one, elastic band does a perfect job. And what that'll do is it'll act as like a little mini greenhouse, and that'll keep in the moisture to ensure that these cuttings don't lose all the moisture that's in the leaves already, and it'll just give them that chance to be able to grow some roots. So I'm going to put that somewhere on probably the kitchen window ledge. If you do have a heated mat, you can put that on a heated mat. If you do put some bottom heat to this, this will allow it to grow and produce roots much quicker. And you can tell by checking underneath the bottom, and you'll be able to see some roots showing through that bottom hole. You might get some growth coming already on these cuttings. That's not always a sign that the plant is rooted. The telltale sign to me, I would not transplant these until I can see some roots coming out the bottom, because sometimes there is energy within the cutting that allows it to produce the side shoots, and it looks on the surface like it's rooted, but in actual fact it hasn't. Until you can see those roots, my top tip is to leave it alone. Do not transplant it until those roots are coming through the bottom. I do hope you found this video informative. If you do have any comments, please drop them in the comments box below the video. Please subscribe, and if you do like this video, please give us a like. Please share this video on social media. Really good to get our message and our gardening videos out to as many people as possible. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care, and we'll see you very soon on the next one. There's always something you forget. Yeah. The vital ingredient, hormone rooting powder.